Hello and once again welcome to Ecoholics. Here we'll discuss the important thing regarding the today's development. So that's why we have changed the name of this discussion from the Hindu analysis to current economic discussion and analysis. So I hope you're loving this type of discussion and where we'll discuss about the current economic developments throughout the day. So today is an important day and we'll start our discussion with the important features that Indian economy actually introduce. That is what a lot of people are saying that this is known as the mini budget. So this mini budget that our finance minister announced. So this mini budget is introduced a lot of reforms. So these type of reforms are very vital for the recovery of Indian economy. So I hope you are all able to see the important things regarding the Indian economy. So yesterday's discussion we were talking about the slash in the corporate income tax and the other reforms introduced by finance minister. So although she is saying that these type of reforms will help the economy, so how here we'll see that what kind of reforms she introduced yesterday and what will be the impact of these reforms onto the current economic situation of India. Now first of all, you know that Indian economy is passing through a slowdown, and that slowdown is expected to getting worse in near future. So in order to actually expedite the process of recovery, government has been trying to do two types of measures. So one, we have the demand side measure, and the other one that government is having is supply side measure. Generally, what kind of reforms these kind of reforms that we are taking into consideration? Till this point there are a lot of reforms like the RBI cut in the repo rate. So RBI cut in the repo rate to 5.4% recently. Other reforms like the withdrawal of surcharge over foreign portfolio investment. Apart from this, other reforms like what government introduced is about the GST rate cut. But these are the supply side reforms. The demand side reforms generally related to individuals, or we can say the households. So this is actually on this side India is lacking. So we are not introducing that reforms that is from demand side. What government is doing, government is introducing reforms from the supply side. The most important reform, the recent yesterday announcement, is the cut in corporate income tax. So now this cut in the corporate income tax, so we'll discuss the impact in today's lecture. If you want to know more about the cut in the corporate income tax, you can see or you can watch our yesterday's lecture, yesterday's live session. And this particular session is very vital in order to understand what is the impact of these announcements on the Indian economy. So let's begin our discussion. Now yesterday government announced the corporate income tax rate cut for different categories. Effectively, we can say that corporate income tax rate cut, especially to 22% for domestic firms. So that is for domestic firms. Yes, Komal, I'll tell you what is the meaning of surcharge later on. So at the last, we'll take all the doubts one by one. And if you are having doubt in between, you can just drop a message. So I'll clarify your doubt at the end of this lecture. First, understand the concept, and in between, if you are getting doubt, again I'm saying just drop a message. Now here we can say that this particular rate of 22% is actually slashed for domestic firms only, which are not availing any kind of incentives or exemptions. तो ये लेक्चर बाइलिंगुअल रहता है, तो इसमें मैं आपको समझा देता हूँ. कॉर्पोरेट इनकम टैक्स जो 22% कर दिया गया है, किसके लिए? सिर्फ डोमेस्टिक फर्म्स के लिए, अगर वो फर्म्स इंसेंटिव और एग्जेम्पशंस अवेल नहीं कर रही हैं. और जो इफेक्टिव रेट इंक्लूडिंग सेस और सरचार्ज, अगर सेस और सरचार्ज मिला लें तो जो इफेक्टिव रेट होता है वो 22% की बजाय 25.17% हो जाता है. तो इफेक्टिव रेट ये सेस में आपको सिंपल चीज़ में बता देता हूँ. सेस इज लाइक द इट इज़ इम्पोज्ड फॉर अ स्पेसिफिक पर्पस, लाइक एजुकेशनल सेस. तो ये किस लिए है? टू फंड द एजुकेशनल सेक्टर. सरचार्ज क्या होता है? सरचार्ज इज टैक्स ऑन टैक्स. So tax on tax means if government is trying to mop up more revenue in the current financial year, then government impose surcharge. Suppose the corporate income tax is 30%, suppose this is a hypothetical example, and the surcharge is suppose 10%. Then this 10% of surcharge is of this 30%. So what is the 10% of 30%? Is 3%. So if we add this and this, you will find effective rate is 33%. So surcharge here is 10% of the tax. But the difference main is cess is for a specific purpose. It means अगर cess से आपने कोई पैसा मॉप अप किया है तो उसको उसी पर्पस में यूज़ करना पड़ेगा. जैसे कि स्वच्छ भारत सेस, जैसे कि कृषि कल्याण सेस. तो ये जो सेस है जिस पर्पस के लिए लिए गए हैं उसी लिए यूज़ कर सकती है सरकार, और दूसरे किसी काम के लिए नहीं. बट सरचार्ज दे कैन यूज़ फॉर एनी पर्पस. सो सरचार्ज इज सिंपल टैक्स ऑन टैक्स. आई होप यू अंडरस्टैंड. तो इस सेस और सरचार्ज मिलाकर जो इफेक्टिव रेट होता है वो 25.17% हो जाएगा. अब पहले इफेक्टिव रेट था 34.94%. तो आप देख लीजिए लगभग 10 परसेंटेज पॉइंट्स को कम किया गया है. तो एक बहुत ही बड़ा बूस्ट है. सो दिस इज अ बिग बूस्ट in order to reduce the tax liability of the corporate in India. Now what's the impact of this decision? So we'll see the impact. The boost, to boost this post tax corporates, post tax corporate earnings, what will happen? That will impact favorably on their investment, favorably on banks as well, favorably on infrastructure sector as well. And these three important sectors will gain from this decrease in the corporate income tax. So this is the impact. It means post-tax corporates will get benefit in investment companies, the banks, because banks are struggling with the problem of NPA, and the infrastructure sector, which is struggling from stall projects. तो जो स्टॉल प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं, जो रुक गए हैं, जिनका कंस्ट्रक्शन आगे नहीं बढ़ पा रहा है, उसको हेल्प मिलेगा. बैंक्स के नॉन परफॉर्मिंग एसेट्स हैं, जो उन्होंने लोन दिए थे वो वापस नहीं आए हैं, तो उसके लिए एक बूस्ट मिलेगा. और जो इन्वेस्टमेंट है, जैसे कि प्राइवेट सेक्टर इन्वेस्टमेंट डाउन है कंट्री में, तो उसको बूस्ट करने के लिए. तो इससे आप देख सकते हैं कि 3 बड़े फायदे हैं. नेक्स्ट हम जाते हैं कॉर्पोरेट इनकम टैक्स, जो एक डायरेक्ट टैक्स है. सो दिस इज अ डायरेक्ट टैक्स ऑन द न्यू domestic manufacturing company. New domestic manufacturing company, or we can say firms, on or before October 1st. तो 1 अक्टूबर या on or after 1st October, they can pay 15% of corporate income tax if they start their producing their output before 31st March 2023. इसका मतलब है जो नई डोमेस्टिक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फर्म्स हैं 1 अक्टूबर या उसके बाद अगर वो इस्टेब्लिश होती हैं और 31 मार्च 2023 से पहले वो अपना प्रोडक्शन और मैन्युफैक्चरिंग एक्टिविटी शुरू कर देती हैं, आउटपुट प्रोड्यूस करना, तो उनका जो कॉर्पोरेट इनकम टैक्स है वो 15% रहेगा. Now what will be the impact from this? Impact will be, they will actually, it will boost our flagship scheme which is known as Make in India. So Make in India, that is, it will actually boost this purpose because now the foreign companies will come into India and invest in India. So obviously it will boost FDI as well. Now what will happen after that? It will actually prompt corporate houses to actually to float new firms. तो जो कॉरपोरेट हाउसेस हैं उनके लिए क्या इंसेंटिव है, जो नई फर्म्स वो और इस्टेब्लिश करेंगे, क्योंकि न्यू डोमेस्टिक फर्म अगर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर में आ रही हैं तो उनको 15% है, तो ये बहुत बड़ा फ़ायदा है. Now the most important thing here is the Make in India. Now the question arises, you will ask me that there is a keyword known as the domestic. Then there is a domestic, how it will give a boost to Make in India, how foreign firms will come, how FDI will come into the picture. Now I can understand if a domestic firm is having 51% share, it means 49% remaining can come via FDI as well. So इस वजह से ये जो आपका मैन्युफैक्चरिंग है उसकी वजह से एप्पल को बहुत फ़ायदा होगा. एप्पल जो कंपनी है, टेक्नोलॉजिकल कंपनी है, मोबाइल फ़ोन्स, लैपटॉप, ये सारी चीज़ें बनाती हैं, उसको बहुत फ़ायदा होने वाला है. उसका रीज़न है, जैसे ही इंडिया ने अनाउंस किया, इनकी एक सप्लायर कंपनी है जो एप्पल को प्रोडक्ट्स सप्लाई करती है, वो फॉक्सकॉन है. वो कहाँ पर है? ताइवान में. इट इज़ लोकेटेड इन ताइवान. नाउ ताइवान, there are 100,000 companies are actually right now working in China, because China is having great tax incentives, great logistic facility, storage, etc. But due to trade war, they are moving away from China. So it will give boost to a lot of Taiwanese company to come and invest in India because of this feature, and Apple is one of them. So this is a great incentive for the manufacturing companies. The next thing about MAT, minimum alternative tax. Now to those corporates which are actually not having any profit on their real part, they are showing their book profit. So in the books they are earning profit on their books, on their account books. If this MAT, previously it was 18.5%, this MAT introduced in the year 2007 by the then Finance Minister Pranab Mukherjee, and this minimum alternative tax rate slashed to 15%. So obviously the effective rate previously was around 20.3% and now it will be around 17%. What will the benefit from this? So the benefit from this reduction is the number one impact, it will give boost to SEZ units. So जो स्पेशल इकोनॉमिक जोन में जो IT फर्म्स होती हैं स्पेशली, उनको इससे बहुत फ़ायदा होने वाला है. So IT firms को, and they will get relief. So a lot of IT firms are established in special economic zones, and this MAT is slashed, although very minimal slashed, but we can say that this will give boost to IT firms. अब एक कॉन्सेप्ट होता है, कॉर्पोरेट इनकम टैक्स लगता है या मैट लगता है. सो ईदर अ कंपनी इज एलिजिबल फॉर CIT और मैट. नाउ if whatever is higher, company has to pay that. Suppose the corporate income tax by availing due to lot of exemption etc. Suppose corporate income tax 12% आता है और MAT 15% आता है. So company will pay MAT, not CIT. That's why IT firms, they are actually providing lot of services. So they pay the MAT, minimum alternative tax. The next one is about the share buyback. The fourth important development, share buyback. So there will be no tax on share buyback. If you buy back your share, there will be no tax. But if these plans made before जुलाई 2019, अगर किसी कंपनी ने अपने ही शेयर खरीद लिए हैं जुलाई 2019 से पहले, 1 जुलाई और 4 जुलाई जिस दिन बजट आया था, उस जुलाई से पहले अगर कर लिया है तो उन पे कोई टैक्स नहीं लगेगा. तो इससे किस किस कंपनी को फ़ायदा होगा? विप्रो को फ़ायदा होगा, अडानी पोर्ट्स को फ़ायदा होगा क्योंकि उन्होंने पहले ही अनाउंस कर दिया था. उसके बाद बॉम्बे स्टॉक एक्सचेंज की अदर कंपनीज को भी फ़ायदा होगा. अब इससे बायबैक का मतलब क्या होता है? जैसे कि मान लीजिए ये 100% टैक्सेस है, सॉरी 100% शेयर है आपकी कंपनी के. अब आपने ये 100% में से मान लीजिए 70% फ्लोट किया था मार्केट में और 30% नहीं किया था. बट आपको रियलाइज़ हुआ कि कंपनी की ग्रोथ अच्छी चल रही है, तो वो 70% भी मैं क्यों फ्लोट करूं? तो उसमें से 60% आप वहीं रहने देते हैं और जो 10% बीच में रहता है उसको आप बायबैक कर लेते हैं, क्योंकि अगर आप अपने ही शेयर खुद खरीद लेंगे तो वो जो प्रॉफिट होने वाला कंपनी को वो आप ही को होगा. तो यू डोंट वांट टू शेयर योर प्रॉफिट और योर ग्रोथ विथ अदर्स, इसलिए बायबैक करती हैं कंपनियां. Now the next is what will be the major impact of corporate income tax on the major other peers of Indian economy. Like if we see India's the corporate income tax, this is effectively 22%, we can say. So 22% on the books if you exclude cess and surcharge, and that is only for domestic companies. So be careful in this concept that this is only for domestic manufacturing, domestic companies, not for the foreign companies. If we compare with China, China is having 25% of corporate income tax rate. If we compare with Indonesia, it is having 25%. If we having Malaysia, if we compare with 24%. If we compare with Bangladesh, it is also 25%. If we compare with United States of America, it is 21%. If we compare with Japan, it is 23.2%. If we compare with Hong Kong, it is around 16.5%. So you can understand, if you see Mauritius as well, so Mauritius is 15%, Singapore is 17%. Don't remember these figures, but you can understand that India is now equivalent to other South Asian as well as other countries. So India is now providing a competitive edge towards India's business houses regarding, we can say, regarding the corporate income tax rate cut. So this is what we have in, we can say, the package announced by the finance minister. Now I'll take the doubt and then we'll move forward. So the first doubt we have is yes, Vidisha, these videos are conducted on a daily basis, live at 10:30 to 11. In actual sense, what does surcharge means? So I hope, Komal, you understand surcharge now. If you have understood, then just please reply. The next one we have is, for what purpose the surcharge is charged? It is to mop up the extra tax revenue. If government is thinking that tax revenue is fallen below the expected lines, suppose the government expenditure is 27.5 lakh crore and the government revenue, expected revenue, is 20 lakh crore. Is suppose due to some reasons low GST collection, what will happen? 19 lakh crore is the only amount that government is able to collect throughout the year. It means apart from the deficit, government is having shortage of 1 lakh crore as well. So they will impose surcharge. So they will impose surcharge especially on the rich, so super rich company, or if we talk about individuals, it will be imposed on the person earning 1 crore or more. So this is how we can have. The next doubt is mat nahi to okay, sorry, mat. That is mat. Okay, so mat थोड़ा डिटेल में बताइए. Okay, so MAT is minimum alternative tax. It means that company is earning certain kind of profit on books, not in the real future. So if MAT that companies is charging, it means that government is charging from the companies. So what will happen? You can understand that this minimum alternative tax is very vital. If we say that the government wants to engage in the advance tax proposal, तो इसको मैं आपको ज़्यादा डिटेल में इसलिए भी नहीं बताऊंगा बिकॉज ये एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है. बेसिकली कंपनीज क्या करती हैं, जो पॉपुलरली उनको कहते हैं हम ज़ीरो टैक्स कंपनी. जैसे आपको याद होगा बड़ी बड़ी कंपनी है, मैं उनका नाम नहीं लूँगा, बट वो बहुत सारी कंपनी है जिन्होंने पूरे साल काम किया और ज़ीरो टैक्स बताया एज अ प्रॉफिट, क्योंकि उनने प्रॉफिट कुछ कमाया नहीं. जैसे मान लीजिए 1 करोड़ रुपीज़ का उनका टर्नओवर था और 1 करोड़ उन्होंने खर्च भी कर दिया, तो इट मीन्स नो प्रॉफिट. सो व्हेन नो प्रॉफिट, नो कॉर्पोरेट इनकम टैक्स. बट जब एडवांस टैक्स हम कंपनी का मेजर करते हैं, तो वो जो एडवांस टैक्स होता है कंपनीज का, उस पर गवर्नमेंट मैट लगाती है, मिनिमम अल्टरनेटिव टैक्स, क्योंकि बुक्स पे तो प्रॉफिट दिखता है एडवांस में. उसके लिए क्या होता है, जैसे जो इनकम टैक्स एक्ट में उसी में ये प्रोविजंस दिए गए हैं, उसमें दिया गया है कि टैक्स जो मिनिमाइज करती हैं कंपनियां टैक्स प्रॉफिट पे टैक्स से बचने के लिए, उसको इनकम टैक्स में वो ज़ीरो या नेगेटिव दिखाती हैं जानबूझ के. तो उससे क्या होता है, इंडियन जो गवर्नमेंट है उसको लॉस होता है, और जो गवर्नमेंट को लॉस होता है रेवेन्यू का, तो ऑब्वियसली ये उनकी बुक्स पे लगता है. बुक्स मतलब होता है प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस अकाउंट्स और इनकम स्टेटमेंट्स जो होते हैं. तो उसी वजह से ये एक फैसिलिटीज़ लाई गई थी जिसमें आप कंपनीज पे टैक्स लगा सकते हैं. अगर आप सेम चीज़ इंडिविजुअल्स पे करेंगे तो उसको AMT कहते हैं, वो होता है अल्टरनेटिव मिनिमम टैक्स. सो AMT इज़ फॉर इंडिविजुअल्स एंड MAT इज़ फॉर कॉर्पोरेट्स. तो अब जनरली जो एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से इम्पोर्टेंट है, दैट इज़ द MAT इम्पोज्ड ऑन बुक प्रॉफिट. अगर बुक प्रॉफिट आपको समझना है तो आपको अकाउंट्स का क्लास या अकाउंट्स के NCERT से आपको समझ में आ जाएगा, क्योंकि यहाँ पर मैं आपको इतनी ही डिटेल बता सकता हूँ in order to understand for GS purpose. We are not studying the commerce. So I hope you understand. The next question is, for what purpose the surcharge is charged? Obviously that we have taken. Please explain the buyback of shares once more with an example. Suppose I am having a company, and that company, suppose I am having 100 shares, and I'm the owner of 100 shares. Shares, you understand? So shares is like a pie. So suppose you are eating pizza and there are 6 pies. So you own 1 or 2, it means that's the percentage of share in that pizza. So suppose we are having 100 shares and I am having 10 shares on my own and 90 shares I am floating in the market. Why I am floating in the market? Just to raise my capital. पैसा मिलेगा तो पैसा रेस करेंगे, लोग शेयर खरीदेंगे. बट हमको पता है कि अगले 1 साल में कंपनी की ग्रोथ बहुत बढ़ने वाली है, क्योंकि मैं ऐसे मेजर्स कर रहा हूँ. तो जब कंपनी की ग्रोथ होने वाली है, ये मुझे पता है क्योंकि आई एम द पार्ट ऑफ द कंपनी. तो वाई शुड आई शेयर दिस प्रॉफिट विथ अदर पीपल? तो मैं क्या करूँगा, ये 90 शेयर में से जिन जिन के पास 90 शेयर होंगे, या जो मैंने शेयर बचे हुए होंगे, मान लीजिए 90 में से 70 शेयर ही मेरे मार्केट में इशू हो पाए, 20 बचे ही रहे, वो भी मार्केट में फ्लोटिंग है, कोई और खरीद सकता है, तो वो 20 बचे हुए शेयर्स मैं खुद ही खरीद लूँगा. तो जो 10 शेयर्स पे मुझे प्रॉफिट मिलना था वो अब प्लस 20 भी हो जाएगा, तो 30 शेयर्स पे मुझे प्रॉफिट मिलेगा. तो इससे जो कंपनी ग्रोथ करती है, तो बायबैक इज अ गुड ऑप्शन एंड इट्स अ गुड साइन फॉर अ कंपनी दैट कंपनी इज डूइंग वेल. The next question is, surcharge is charged only for direct tax. Because in GST there is no provision of surcharge, but because if you see the features of goods and services taxes, there is no feature of surcharge. But obviously government is imposing surcharges just to compensate the state government for their losses of revenue. So generally it is on direct taxes, but they can impose on indirect as well. The next question is from Abdul. So why India impose more tax than any other developing countries in the world? That's the biggest question in front of the lot of companies as well as the policymakers. India is a high tax country. Now, if you see, suppose imagine as a foreign company working in India, you have to pay effectively 44% of corporate income tax. It means suppose your company is earning 1 crore rupees, 44 lakh you have to give to the government. This is the effective tax rate for foreign companies in India. So you can understand how India will lure these foreign investors. But still, just because India is having the huge market and huge scope in India, that's why companies are coming. Like so, multinational companies have to pay 44% of corporate income tax. So you can understand India is having the very high tax rate. Now, obviously, this high tax rate erode the competitiveness of India. Yeah. Now, answer to your question is why India is having high tax. It is just Indian government is having fear of losing the revenue. So they have fear that if we decrease the rate, India will lose the revenue. So mainly just because, and the other thing is that India is having the fiscal deficit very very high. So you can understand that this high fiscal deficit we need to fund from somewhere. So that is obviously, if fiscal deficit goes up, it means India's borrowing will go up. So revenue is better than borrowing. So that's why India is having high tax rate. How can 1.4 lakh crore, that is 1.45 lakh crore, loss due to the tax cut can be recovered by the government? Yes, it's a good question. So coming on to the topic once again, and we'll take the doubt after 10 minutes. So just understand what we are doing. So I'm just about to start about this 1.45 lakh crore. Now the question here, if we compare that India's revenue foregone, revenue foregone, or we can say this term is also known as tax expenditure. Very important term for the examination purpose, especially UPSC civil services examination, and they can ask any in the objective examination. What's the meaning of revenue foregone or tax expenditure? It means when the government cut any kind of tax, like for example corporate income tax to 22%. So it means government is not able to recover that particular loss in the revenue. So what is the loss in the revenue is known as the revenue foregone or tax expenditure. So generally people get confused by tax expenditure. It means that expenditure is incurred in the collection of tax. So this is not a right answer. If you'll find tax expenditure, it means the loss of revenue due to decrease in the tax rate. Now it is around relatively the tax expenditure that is of 1.45 lakh crore that government is expecting every year. This is not one time, mind you, and this is 0.7% of GDP. And this is mostly we can say that government announced in the surprise, because a lot of corporate and big houses were expecting these rate cuts since last 5 years, we can say last 5 years, but this actually came as a surprise. Now what's the aim behind this? They wanted to spur the economy via, we can say, easing of credit flow. Now how credit will flow? Because corporate income tax is also imposed on banks as well. So this will give more incentives to the banks as well as more liquidity to the banks to increase their lending into the Indian economy. If they increase the lending, it means it will improve the liquidity into the system. More money into the system. When you have more money into the system, it means the cheap loan as well as more investment. तो ये सारी चीज़ें एक्सपेक्टेड थी. अब जो भी स्टीपेस्ट कट दिया है कॉर्पोरेट इनकम टैक्स में, दैट इज हाईएस्ट सिंस लास्ट 3 decades. So this is very very vital again. Now how government will mop up this loss? Now if we think from the government's perspective, the government, how government will recover? Government is expecting new investment, because if new investment will come, it means new manufacturing units will establish in India. It will increase the investment, as well as it will increase the flow of credit into the economy. And this flow of credit obviously will give the new ventures, as well as, so new ventures will establish, they will contribute towards government's revenue. So this is how that government is expecting to mop up the extra cut, because this was the long standing demand from the industries, and it will actually widen the tax base. So the wideness of the tax base is an important tool here to recover the tax rate. तो ये सबसे बड़ा बेनिफिट है कि अब ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा इंडस्ट्रीज़, जैसे मान लीजिए पहले 100 फर्म्स इसके अंदर थी, तो अब टैक्स कट होने से नई फर्म्स भी इस्टेब्लिश होंगी, और जो टैक्स ब्रैकेट है वो मान लीजिए आपका 150 पहुंचेगा। तो जो लॉस रेवेन्यू आपको हुआ है, बट उसमें 50 एक्स्ट्रा कंपनीज इस्टेब्लिश हुई हैं, इसका मतलब वो 50 एक्स्ट्रा कंपनी भी आपको प्रोवाइड करेंगी टैक्स रेवेन्यू, जिस वजह से गवर्नमेंट इज एक्सपेक्टिंग टू रिकवर rupees 1.45 lakh crore. Now talking about the government's deficit, that is mean fiscal deficit. Now this year government is expecting to maintain at 3.3% of GDP, and the target was 3%. So obviously well short of this target for financial year 2020. Now we can understand that government is, if we exclude the RBI's transfer 1.76 lakh crore, RBI ने जो 1.76 लाख करोड़ को अगर ट्रांसफर को हम हटा दें, तो फिस्कल डेफिसिट जो है गवर्नमेंट का वो लगभग 3.8% तो आएगा ही आएगा। तो 3.8% उसको मिला के है, और अगर उसको हटा देंगे आरबीआई का जो ट्रांसफ़र किया है गवर्नमेंट को, उसमें लगभग आपका 4% फिस्कल डेफिसिट एक्सपेक्टेड है। तो इसी का देखने लायक होगा कि ये गवर्नमेंट कैसे इस चीज़ को रिकवर कर सकती है, कैसे, और कैपिटल गुड्स और इस टाइप से चीज़ें हमको देखने को मिलेंगी। अब इसका सबसे बड़ा लॉस क्या है, ये टैक्स कट का। इससे क्या है, गवर्नमेंट का फिस्कल डेफिसिट बढ़ेगा, इट मीन्स गवर्नमेंट फिस्कल डेफिसिट विल गो अप, and if the government's fiscal deficit will go up, what will be the impact? Government will cut down its capex. Capex क्या होता है? This is capital expenditure. So capital expenditure, capital expenditure का मतलब होता है सरकार उन चीज़ों पे पैसा खर्च करेगी जिससे assets बनते हैं। जब assets creation पे capex वैसे ही around 12% of total expenditure है, तो वो अब देखने लायक होगा कि वो और कम होगा इन फ्यूचर। तो ये चीज़ें एक्सपेक्टेड हैं कि अगर गवर्नमेंट का अगर ये फिस्कल डेफिसिट कंट्रोल में नहीं हुआ, तो कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर में हम कट देख सकते हैं। तो ये सारी चीज़ें हैं जो आज के डिस्कशन में इम्पॉर्टेंट थी। सबसे ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट है कि जो ग्लोबल लेवल पे इंडिया की कॉम्पिटिटिवनेस वो बहुत अच्छी हो गई है, उससे साउथ एशियन कंट्रीज़ में एडवांटेज मिलेगा इंडिया को, स्पेशली इंडिया नाउ कैन टेक द एडवांटेज ऑफ ट्रेड वॉर। काफ़ी 1-1.5 साल से ट्रेड वॉर चल रहा है, फाइनली अब जाके इंडिया इसका एडवांटेज लेने की पोजीशन में है। सो कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स कट होने से ये सबसे बड़ा फ़ायदा हुआ है। अब लोगों का कहना है, व्हाट पीपल आर सेइंग दैट दिस विल प्रमोट टैक्स डाइवर्जन। What's the meaning of tax diversion? It means now companies will open small companies, because small new manufacturing companies are having 15% corporate income tax rate. तो diversion नहीं है, it's like we can say it's not a diversion, but this will give choice to the companies to set up new entities, and it is not for the old entities. It is clearly mentioned that this is for fresh investment. So if they make fresh investment, it means it will increase the employment. ना आप कितना ही बोल लें कि सरकार जॉब नहीं क्रिएट कर पा रही, नहीं दे पा रही है, बट लेट मी टेल यू फ्रेंकली, इट इज़ इम्पॉसिबल फॉर एनी गवर्नमेंट टू प्रोड्यूस 10 लाख जॉब पर मंथ। ये इंडिया की डिमांड है, 10 लाख नौकरियां हर महीने चाहिए, तो ये कोई भी गवर्नमेंट नहीं कर सकती। इसलिए सरकार क्या कर रही है, सरकार न्यू मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट्स को प्रमोट कर रही है, जिससे कि एम्प्लॉयमेंट उनमें भी बढ़ेगा। तो ये ऑब्वियसली बहुत फ़ायदे वाली चीज़ है, स्पेशली व्हेन वी थिंक फ्रॉम द पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ गवर्नमेंट। इसके अलावा और भी बेनिफिट हैं, जैसे कि कॉर्पोरेट इनकम टैक्स कम होने से जो एक्सपोर्ट्स हैं वो भी अब फ़ायदा हो सकता है उनको, क्योंकि जो डोमेस्टिक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग थी अब उनके पास टैक्स की लाइबिलिटी कम होगी, तो वो एक्सपोर्ट्स में ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकेंगे। तो ये सारी चीज़ें हैं जो बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट हैं और आगे जाके काम आने वाली हैं। बट यही, इसके अलावा अगर आपको कोई क्वेश्चन है, आपके दिमाग में कोई डाउट है, तो you can ask, most welcome. Otherwise, we'll wind up the session. And before winding up, I'll discuss a little bit about the India's crude oil. So we have to discuss that also. And I'll tell you certain data, very important data regarding the India's oil import. So let's move on towards, now as we had discussed about Aramco, that is the Saudi Arabian company that produces crude oil. Now we see that the drone attack on this, just because of this drone attack, they are having impact on their oil facilities. Now for oil facilities, they are losing 5.7 million barrels per day of oil. तो ये इनका लॉस हो रहा है डेली का, और it is expected that they will recover into 2 to 3 weeks, although they are saying that 1 or 2 weeks, but it will take 2 to 3 weeks to restore the production back the pre-strike level at the Aramco. Now this is a global supply hike. Now if we see from the India's perspective, because we are living in India and we think from India's perspective, India imports around 87% of its all crude oil requirement. So 87 we import from the other world and 13% we actually produces. Now we see Saudi Arabia, so that is written as KSA, that is Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. India actually imports around 36.8 million tons of the crude oil, and highest is from, so this is the second highest, the highest is from Iraq. So that is for examination purpose. India imports its highest crude oil requirement from Iraq, around 42.2 million tons. So this is Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and the third, if you want, we are having third is Iran. So if they ask in the examination, because oil prices are in the news, so they can ask that India imports the highest crude oil, or they can ask for arranging in the chronological order. So this is the India's importing countries that India is importing. Now if we talk about domestic oil exploration, it also went down. If we compare with the last year, India produces, in the financial year 18, India produced around we can say 38 million tons of crude oil, and financial year 19 India produced 34 million tons. So what will be the impact? Rise in the global crude oil prices as well as reduction in the domestic oil production. तो ग्लोबल ऑयल प्राइसेस बढ़ गए और डोमेस्टिक प्रोडक्शन जो था वो कम हो गया है, तो इस वजह से क्या होगा, दोनों तरफ से प्राइसेस ऑब्वियसली बढ़ेंगी, क्योंकि यहाँ सप्लाई कट हो गया है, यहाँ पे सप्लाई भी कट हो गया दोनों जगह से, तो डिमांड उतना ही है। तो ऑब्वियसली अगर इंडिया का आप इंपोर्ट बिल देखें, तो इंडिया का जो इंपोर्ट बिल था वो लगभग 2018 में था 87 बिलियन डॉलर्स था, और इसी साल सेम ऑयल इंपोर्ट करने के लिए 114 बिलियन ये इंडिया ने दिया है। तो यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड दैट this is very important that global oil prices should remain in control in order to actually recover from this global economic slowdown. So if you have any doubt, you can ask. The corporate tax lowering to some extent can increase the employment. Yes, obviously it will increase the employment. How? Because it will attract, or it will lure the new industries, new manufacturing units to set up in India. And if they will set up in India with the help of FDI, so obviously employment will increase. So companies will take or hire more workers. So that actually help, obviously in a true sense. But I would say that if they increase the income tax as well as the GST rate, if we compare with the corporate income tax, then it would have the greater impact on the Indian economy, because this is more inclusive. Income tax is affecting each and every person in the country. GST is also affecting. But what about corporate income tax? It is affecting only few, which are having more wealth in comparison to other. So if they would have cut their income tax as well as GST, that would have been helpful and the quick recovery from the slowdown. तो वो उन्होंने नहीं किया है. कॉर्पोरेट इनकम टैक्स एक इनडायरेक्ट मेथडोलॉजी है जिससे होगा बट इकोनॉमिक स्लो डाउन. बट सरकार मन बना चुकी है कि गवर्नमेंट एक्सपेंडिचर नहीं बढ़ेगा, चाहे आप जितने चाहे इंसेंटिव्स ले लो उतने. तो दिस इज अकॉर्डिंग टू माई ओपिनियन. आई एम अगेंस्ट दिस ओपिनियन दैट you are not spending the government expenditure in the economy and you are giving a lot of incentives, because incentives will work in a different direction. Suppose corporate income tax है 10% कम हुआ है. अब क्या हुआ, मान लीजिए मेरा 100 करोड़ का प्रॉफिट था, तो मेरा 10 करोड़ बच जाएगा. अब वो 10 करोड़ मैं इकोनॉमी में इन्वेस्ट करूं या ना करूं, इट डिपेंड्स ऑन मी. आई कैन इन्वेस्ट इन माई ओन बिजनेस ऑन अ न्यू वेंचर और आई कैन पॉकेट इट आउट. तो ये मेरे ऊपर डिपेंड करता है. बट अगर जीएसटी और इनकम टैक्स रेट कम हुए होते तो ये ज़्यादा फ़ायदा होता, जल्दी फ़ायदा होता, क्योंकि जल्दी फ़ायदा चाहिए हमें, क्विक रिजल्ट चाहिए. सो दैट्स इट फॉर टुडे. एंड you can have any doubt, you can always contact on my WhatsApp number, that is 7223946092. And apart from this, we are having the full courses for the economics optional, Indian economic services, UGC net, econometrics, mathematical economics, where I teach personally, and all the courses are conceptualized by me only. So if you are interested, you can take the admission. And we are also running our free test series program. So if you haven't registered yet for the free test series program, then go for it and visit our website ecoholics.in for free test series. So tomorrow we are having a test. So see you soon. And now we'll meet on Monday, because we conduct our this live daily session, that is from Monday to Saturday. So we'll meet on Monday with the new news and a lot of economic discussions. So once again, thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in, Ecoholics, and good night.